The following is a production of Hometown and Home Country Radio Sports.
Bedford and the Lions down to their final strike. Can Bedford keep it alive? Trunk trying to close it out for the Bulldogs. 3-2 Algona. 2-2 count, runner at second. Trunk winds and delivers. Slow tapper towards shortstop, charged by Lentz, picks it up, throws to first, in time, and the ball game is over. The Bulldogs get it done at Clear Lake, and the season will continue. As Reagan Haynes lead the batter, line drive right center field. That one's down for a base hit in front of Harvey. Here comes Burns around third. She'll come to the plate and score. She'll fly to center field. That one's hit hard, and it's over. Gibbs head to the wall. Bulldogs are going to take the lead. Here comes Haynes to score. Burns sliding to second base with a double. A clutch hit by Caitlin Burns, and the Bulldogs push in front 3-2. 2-2 counts, 2 outs. Thompson laboring here in the second. Fires to Busher. That's a gapper towards left center field. Racing over Schroeder. It's in the gap. 2 runs are going to score for the Bulldogs. On our way to second base is Busher. 3-0 Algona. First pitch to Lentz, blasted to deep left center field. Back it goes, and it's gone. We are tied. Maya Lentz homers to left center field. Her first career bomb for the Bulldogs, and boom goes the dynamite.
Video streaming on the Algona Radio YouTube channel is brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, owned for community benefit. Kemna Auto Center, where it's not just about the car, it's about the care. Iowa State Bank, helping people succeed. PMC Advantage Insurance Services, having the advantage makes all the difference. And Algona Frame and Auto Body, we meet by accident. Now, here's Hometown and Home Country Radio Sports Director, Tyler Lance.
After a regular season that featured a remarkable step forward for the Algona Bulldogs, the postseason has finally arrived. It's Class 3A Region 6 quarterfinal action tonight on Hometown Radio, KLGA, and the Algona Radio YouTube stream. This game being moved up 1 hour due to the threat of rain tonight, so we're going to try to get this game in before any potential weather gets here, and it's going to be a good one tonight as the postseason finally gets underway. Well, the Bulldogs, like we said, took a big step forward this season. Last year going 11-16. This year 18-6 after the end of the regular season. Their most wins since going 18-11 in the 2019 campaign. And that regular season was driven by a couple of things. A powerful batting order that had a .356 batting average and 11 home runs on the season, up and down the lineup. Good depth for this Bulldog batting order. That really drove the improvement as well. And great pitching. Allison Trunkhill and Ryan Haynes doing their thing, with Trunkhill posting a .217 ERA and Ryan Haynes of a .249 ERA. Those two factors have combined to lead the Bulldogs to an excellent regular season, 18-6 overall record, and second place in the North Central Conference. But now it's do or die time. The Bulldogs welcome Sheldon in a rematch of the 2021 regional quarterfinal round when Sheldon defeated Algona 13-8. But a lot has changed since 2021. The Bulldogs having one of their best seasons in years and taking on 8-15 Sheldon here tonight. Looking at the starting lineups for tonight's game, first for the visiting Sheldon Oribs, it'll be Andy DeGroat playing second base and batting leadoff. Kaylee Elgersma, the designated player, will bat second as she'll bat for the third baseman. Kendra Hammer, the flex player. Peyton Decker, the catcher, hitting third. Brooke Jones, the pitcher, batting fourth. Addison Dobbins, the shortstop, hitting fifth. Jada Honkamp at first base, batting sixth. Jada Kamstra in center field, batting seventh. Aubrey Urkes in right field, hitting eighth. And Emma Bunkers, the left fielder, batting ninth. Meanwhile, for the Algona Bulldogs, slightly different lineup than they've been using in the past, as they had to make one replacement due to an injury tonight. We'll talk about that here in a second. But looking at the lineup, it's Caitlin Burns in right field, batting leadoff. Allison Trunkhill, the pitcher, hitting second. Reagan Haynes catches and bats third. Maya Lentz, the shortstop, hitting cleanup. Ryan Haynes at second base, batting fifth. Lenny Van Tiger in left field, hitting sixth. Emma Spear, designated player, she'll bat seventh, and she'll bat for the flex player, center fielder Gabby Van Tiger. Jillian Burns is at first base, as she is batting eighth, and Bella Jo Dunning, the third baseman, batting ninth. No Kayla Busher tonight, a little banged up for the Bulldogs, so Jillian Burns getting the start at first base tonight for Algona after having 2 hits in the final regular season game. It's the 18-6 Algona Bulldogs. It is the 8-15 Sheldon Orabs here coming up in Region 6 Class 3A quarterfinal action. It's coming up next after this message on KLGA 92.7 and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
The definition of sportsmanship is the quality of showing fairness.
Respect and generosity towards the opposing team and officials.
The things you say and do are a direct reflection of your school and community.
Please stay positive and enjoy the game.
And enjoy the game. Enjoy the game.
Postseason Sports brought to you by
Farmer State Bank, a strong history, a bright future.
Algona Livestock, sales every Monday.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle, passionate about teaching, creative about dance.
Daylight Donuts, open early, serving freshly made donuts, rolls, and coffee.
Farm and Home Services, check their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic, caring for your pets, big and small, they love them all.
Algona Frame and Auto Body, we meet by accident.
The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union encourages positive behavior.
Pride, respect, leadership, and sportsmanship on the court and in the stands.
Remember what a great privilege it is to see your team compete.
Thank you for your attendance. Enjoy the game.
And enjoy the game.
Postseason Sports on Hometown Home Country Radio. Brought to you by
Style Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Signworks for all your signage needs. Also printed shirts, caps, and jackets.
TAFE Wellness Center, Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm insurance agent in Algona.
Lichter's Garage Door Service, a reputation you can trust.
Good Samaritan Society of Algona, senior housing and services rooted in God's love.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping.
The Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Postseason Sports brought to you by
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants where everyone counts.
Dump It, commercial and residential garbage service.
Weichert Realtors, the 515 Agency.
Neil Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Erpelding Boyd and Company CPAs, they're not just about taxes.
Glenn's Green Thumb, from a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
Tom Eischen Sales, Toro, Steel, and Green Mountain Grills, your store in the country on Highway 18 west of Algona. Postseason Sports on the radio brought to you by
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair, getting you back on the road.
High Point Land Company, your premier destination for land transactions.
J&J Custom Meats, located in Whittemore.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 in Algona.
Tangle Salon, for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Ulrich Construction, let them do the work.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used car vehicle needs.
Hy-Vee, fill your cart, fuel your car with the Fuel Saver Plus Perks card.
Looking for your next vehicle? Drive home happy with Kemna Auto Center, your hometown dealer for new GM, Ford, Jeep, and Ram models. Need something pre-owned? Kemna's got you covered with a great selection, many Bravo certified, each with a multi-point inspection and limited warranty. From friendly sales and finance experts to world-class or master service technicians, Kemna's here to serve you. Stop by Highway 18 West in Algona or visit Kemna.com. Kemna Auto Center, an experience you deserve.
Hey Bulldog fans, this is Caitlin Burns and you're listening to Algona Softball on KLGA.
Postseason softball is here, ladies and gentlemen, in Class 3A as the Algona Bulldogs take on the Sheldon Orubs here on Hometown Radio and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. The Bulldogs out in the field right now, getting ready for the top of the first inning as Allison Trunkhill will take her warm-up tosses. Trunkhill on the season, 22 games pitched in, 18 starts. Her record, 14 wins and 5 losses. She's pitched 106 in the third innings. Trunkhill with a 2.17 ERA, which is number 2 in the North Central Conference. She has struck out 108 batters and walked just 24. Opposing hitters batting .223 against the Bulldog junior, Allison Trunkhill. It is Sheldon and it's Algona in a rematch of the 2021 quarterfinal round for Class 3A. The Bulldogs, though, had to go all the way to Sheldon that year, a season when the Bulldogs lost that game 13-8 in the first round. This year, Sheldon makes the long trip east. Of course, a lot of times in Class 3A sports, Algona gets matched up against teams in the western part of the state in these postseason brackets, and no exception here tonight. A big trip for Sheldon here over to Algona High School, and one of the best softball diamonds around here at Bulldog Park. A wonderful park that opened up in 2022, and it's hard to believe we're already here in 2025, but we've seen several seasons of Bulldog softball in this field, but this is by far the best this Bulldog team is having, with an 18-6 record taking on Sheldon, and an 8-15 Sheldon team from the Siouxland Conference tonight here on KLGA 92.7. So starting things off, it'll be Andy DeGroat, second baseman for Sheldon. DeGroat, an 8th grader, but she has burst on the scene with a .391 batting average and a .494 on-base percentage. DeGroat has walked 10 times. She has only struck out 4. So Trunkhill ready to go to work. As we start this game 1 hour early tonight, to make sure we avoid any potential weather, Trunk Hill winds and fires, and DeGroat rolls that one foul, third base side, and we are underway from Algona High School. Temperature at the first pitch, 82 degrees. We have cloudy skies tonight, overcast conditions. Like we said, it's a potential for storms and rain later on, so trying to get this game out of the way before that happens is the 0-1 pitch. DeGroat cut and the miss for a strike, and she's behind 0-2. After DeGroat, it's Elgersma and Decker this inning for Sheldon. Bulldogs wearing white uniforms tonight. It's the white high socks, the black jersey pants, and the white jersey top. As Trunk Hill into the motion of the 0-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss for strike 3. And DeGroat is punched out for just the 5th time this season, out number 1 of the inning recorded. Up next, Kaylee Elgersma, the designated player. Elgersma, a junior, batting .233, 6 RBI on the season. Does have some swing and miss in the profile of 22 strikeouts leading Sheldon, but she also leads Sheldon with 12 walks. Another left-handed hitter as she rips that one foul, third base side. That'll get out of play on the line drive. The Bulldogs, those white jersey tops, the black script Algona on the front, black numerals front and back, and the red trim along the collarbone and on the sleeve of the jerseys. Some of the players wearing white visors for Algona tonight. As the 0-1 to Elgersma, that one skips in the dirt, 1-1 count. Sheldon, they have the road black uniforms, black high socks, black jersey pants with the orange stripe down the side and the orange belt. The black jersey top with the orange collarbone and tips of the sleeves and the shoulders. The 1-1 pitch rolled back to the circle where it's speared by Trunk Hill. She throws to first, and that is out number 2 of the inning. That ball nearly popped out of the glove of Trunk Hill, but it just stuck there in the end as Elgersma retired at first base for the second out of the inning. That'll bring the number 3 hitter Peyton Decker, a .349 hitter of 16 RBI in the season. Decker with 8 walks and only 3 strikeouts. Decker with a .438 on-base percentage, bats out of a wide and slightly open right-handed stance, attacks the first pitch, little flare towards shortstop, lengths of a leaping grab for Algona, and the first inning quickly comes to an end. Trunk Hill sets the side down 1-2-3, and the Orubs do not score in the first inning. Algona coming into bat next on KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube channel.
Postseason Sports brought to you by
Feed Mill Coffee Company, your locally owned coffee shop in downtown Algona.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty in downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Redding Gravel and Excavating, serving Algona and the surrounding area since 1948.
Steyr Ag Aviation, aerial and ground application agronomy service.
Lance and Tracy Ludwig, your Channel seed dealer in Wesley.
Lentz Funeral Home, someone who cares and understands.
Nielsen Trucking, your project is their priority.
JDRC to Wesley, your Whipple's seed dealer. The new Massey Ferguson 2M Series compact tractor is here. Designed for those who demand more, the Massey Ferguson 2M Series is built to take on the toughest jobs and longest days. Stay comfortable through demanding hay work, feeding livestock, tough snow removal, or detailed landscaping tasks. Options like a deluxe cab, advanced lighting and soft drive, loader suspension maximize your work time. Learn more at MasseyFerguson.com or visit Carroll Implement in Laverne.
Back here on Hometown Radio, KLGA Algona, 92.7 FM, and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. No score between Algona and Sheldon in this Class 3A Region 6 quarterfinal matchup, as Sheldon has the freshman Brooke Jonas. That is the rising freshman, Brooke Jonas, who just finished up her 8th grade year of school in the pitching circle. Jonas has pitched in 20 games this season, 19 of them starts. Her record 7 wins and 12 losses, and her ERA 5.10. Jonas with 103 innings pitched, 100 strikeouts compared to 50 walks, and opposing hitters batting .314 against the Sheldon 8th grader. So a big task here for Brooke Jonas, 8th grader pitching in her first postseason game against the Bulldog lineup that's hitting .356 in the season. Algona ending the regular season 18-6 as they beat Spencer in the last game 10-2. There's a bunt back to the circle picked up by Jonas, guns the first, and the ball's dropped at first base. Burns is safe on the error. That's just a simple play where the first baseman just dropped the throw. That was not a bad throw. It was onto the field side of the bag, and it was just off the glove of Honkop for an error. So an E3 allows Burns to reach base. And now we'll see if the chaos arrives here, if the speedster on board. Allison Trunkhill, the pitcher, now batting for Algona, as Trunkhill recently hit her second home run of the season. .410 batting average, 2 homers, 20 runs knocked in, as Trunkhill bats from the right-handed box. Up in the box on the inside part of the plate, she will take ball 1. It's the Sheldon Orubs and the Algona Bulldogs. Now, what is an Orub, you ask? Well, on the front of their jersey, you see ORABS in orange. And in Orub, that's their school colors, orange and black. It's short for that, as that one's in there for a called strike. Count evens at 1-1. That name dates back to the 1920s when they were nicknamed after their school colors, and it has stuck since then. That's a new fact I learned this week, folks. I could not have told you what an Orb was prior to this week, as the pitch is up and away for a ball, 2-1 count, but we put our crack research team on it, and we got the answer to that question. As Trunk Hill's ahead right now, 2-1. Reagan Haynes in the on-deck circle for Algona. Outfield deep for Sheldon with the Bulldog power hitters coming right up to the plate, including Trunk Hill right here. 2-1 pitch, and Trunk Hill pops it up. Right side of the infield, DeGroat onto the shallow outfield grass, backpedaling and squeezing it as Trunk Hill's retired on the pop-out for out number 1 of the inning. Now it's Reagan Haynes. Haynes putting together an all-state caliber season potentially, as she is
number 17,
batting .405 on the season, 7 homers and 35 runs driven in with a .414 on-base percentage. Haynes does not walk a whole lot. She also does not strike out a whole lot, as she loves to jump the first pitch. It is down for a ball, though, as she takes it, and the count is 1-0. Defensive lead for Sheldon. It's Decker behind home plate, Hammer at third, Dobbins at shortstop, DeGroat at second, and Honkamp at first. Bunkers in left, Kamstra in center, and Urkus in right. And that pitch is a little bit up for a ball, 2-0 count. Home plate umpire doing a good job tonight, not only saying whether the pitch was a ball or a strike, but even up here at press box level, I can hear him saying, that pitch was too high, that pitch was too low. He's really giving the pitcher and the catcher a good idea of where the ball needs to be in order to be in the zone. Runner at first base for the Bulldogs, 1 out, bottom of the first, as Haynes uncoils and bounces that one up the middle, and it squeezes through into center field. That ball was right over the bag at second base. The shortstop Dobbins and the second baseman DeGroat both converged, and that ball somehow snuck right in between them. That's the definition of a seeing eye single, folks, as Burns is up to second base, and Haynes is on first. Bulldogs have not hit the ball hard yet this inning, but they have 2 on with only 1 out, and Maya Lentz coming to the dish. Lentz has maybe traded a little power for some contact this year, but she's made great contact with a .435 batting average and a .524 on-base percentage. 10 walks, only 4 strikeouts, as Taylor Van Otterloo will courtesy run at first base for the catcher Reagan Haynes. So Lentz, the dangerous Bulldogs shortstop, coming up to the dish for this Algona offense that averages 9.3 runs per game. Bulldogs only allowing 3.7. While Sheldon, they score just under 5 per game, but they're allowing just over 8. First pitch to Lentz, and that one misses up and away for ball 1, 1-0 count. Well, there's no better way to get those postseason butterflies out than the big first inning, and that's what Algona's hoping for right now. Both teams getting those postseason butterflies out of the way as Lentz, big cut in the miss. Count evens 1-1. And that's all right on a 1-0 pitch. You're looking for something to drive into the outfield gaps. Lentz thought she had one there, but couldn't make contact as the count is even. Burns at second, Van Otterloo at first, and a 1-1 count from Brooke Jonas. Lentz watching in that one, paints the outside corner for a called strike, 1-2. This is where you want to be smart if you're Jonas. Like she's tried to do so far, you don't want to give Lentz something she can really pull here. You're trying to tempt her to maybe chase one down and away. 1-2 pitch, and that is a bit up and away for a ball. That was a great temptation pitch for a 1-2 count. But Lentz with the decisive eye evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Outfield has moved in a couple of steps for Sheldon. The 8th grader Brooke Jonas with the 2-2 pitch. And Lentz had a great cut and fouled it back to the screen. Boy, would she like to have that pitch back as the count evens 2-2. That one a little bit elevated up in the zone, and Lentz just couldn't get on top of it. So 2-2 count, fought off a 2-strike pitch. On deck, Ryan Haynes. Lady Van Tiger in the holes, the 2-2. Lentz fouls it back to the screen again. Jonas went a little higher that time, trying to slowly climb the ladder on Lentz, elevating that next offering and seeing if Lentz would go after it, and just grazed the bottom of that softball to foul it off. Count stays 2-2. Lentz having a good at-bat. Jonas with the next pitch, and that one is fouled off by Lentz. She just got a piece of it. Jonas pulled the string on her for a changeup. I believe the first time today we've seen Jonas go to that change, and she did have Lentz fooled out on the front foot, but a good hitter keeps the bat in the zone long enough just to spoil that pitch and live to fight another one. Here's Jonas again at the 2-2. Cold strike 3, low outside corner. Lentz is frozen. What a battle that was, but Brooke Jonas wins it. And now 2 outs. Still runners at first and second for Algona. Ryan Haynes having a career year at the plate. .338 batting average, 30 RBI, tied for second on the team with Lady Van Tiger, behind only her sister Reagan Haynes. Ball skips in the dirt. Big secondary lead for the Bulldog base runners, but Decker does a nice job of picking that one out and not letting it get by. That's some big-time experience behind home plate. Peyton Decker, the lone senior in the starting lineup for Sheldon. 1-0 pitch. Haynes watching that one, caught the bottom of the zone for a strike. Count even 1-1. Haynes wearing the elbow guard on the front arm. Those white high socks the Bulldog hitters are wearing and hitting out of a squared stance, about 80% of the way up in the right-handed box. Jonas for the 1-1, and that one misses low for a ball, 2-1 count. Outfielders moved in a couple of steps since some of the early batters. The right fielder, Urkus, is still deep, but Campstra in center and Bunkers in left, about medium depth for Sheldon. Here's the motion by Jonas and the 2-1. Sails it upstairs for a ball, back pick to first base, and a close play as Van Otterloo went in standing. I'm sure the Bulldog first base dugout is saying, hey, get a little dirty next time, because that was a fairly close play at first base to be going in standing. But now a 3-1 count on Haynes. Jonas with the 3-1 pitch. Big cut and a miss by Haynes, and the count full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Jonas 1 strike away from wiggling out of the jam in the first. Burns at second base, Van Otterloo at first. No score, bottom half of 1 from Algona High School, as Haynes battles for 3-2 count. High pitch inning here for Jonas. The payoff, and a swing and a miss for strike 3. Jones elevated the rise ball and puts Haynes away. So after the Bulldogs put runners on first and second, if only 1 out, Jonas buckles down and strikes out the number 4 and number 5 hitters to get out of the jam. 1 hit, no runs. 2 left on base for Algona in the first. We stay scoreless, heading to the top half of 2 on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
More tournament sports sponsors.
Vasky Sales and Service of Bancroft.
Dietering Brothers Farm Equipment Sales and Service.
State Line Cooperative. Real people, real pride.
Goshi Custom Cabinets of Bancroft. They'll meet your kitchen, countertop, and cabinet needs.
Iowa Lakes Community College. Your community, your college.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services. Having the advantage makes all the difference.
Sudal Tax and Accounting. Your certified public accountants.
Algona Feed Store. Home of your feed needs.
Algona Hearing Center. Better living through better hearing.
Living in Iowa sure means we rely on our furnaces and air conditioners to keep us comfortable all year round. That's why Algona Plumbing and Heating is proud to be your local trusted Armstrong dealer. They're committed to bringing you the highest quality products in heating and cooling, and it doesn't get any better than Armstrong furnaces and air conditioners. For all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, give them a call at 295-5240 or stop by their Dodge Street location. Live comfortably with Algona Plumbing and Heating.
Top half of the second inning from Bulldog Park in Algona, Iowa. No score between Algona and Sheldon as Brooke Jonas fouls off the first offering from Allison Trunkhill for strike 1. Hitters number 4, 5, and 6 this inning for Sheldon, with Jonas as well as Addison Dobbins and Jada Honkamp. And boy, is Jonas impressive. Showed some serious guts early in this game to work out of the first and second jam as an 8th grader in their first playoff game as Trunkhill pulls the string on a beautiful changeup. Jonas fooled on that one, and the count goes to 0-2. Jonas very good at the plate. 365 batting average, 444 on base percentage. She's walked 6 times and only struck out 5 this year, hitting out of a deep crouch in the right-handed box. 0-2 pitch. That one fought off over the first base dugout, and the count stays 0-2. Well, Sheldon, they have pretty good numbers at the plate as a team batting .285, which is, I'd say, above average, but they don't hit for a lot of power. They kind of try to get a lot of singles, string base hits together, and that's how they manufacture runs. As the 0-2 pitch, down for a ball, count 1-2. They're not a team that hits a lot of extra base hits, and they don't steal a lot of bases. Only 25 steals in the season. So for Sheldon, the key is, can they draw walks, and can they get multiple base hits in a row against Allison Trunkhill? Because you may need 2 free base hits in a row to score if you're Sheldon. As that pitch is down for a ball, count even at 2-2. Case in point, Sheldon has not homered this year. They only have 21 doubles and 3 triples. Compare that to Algona. They've had 11 homers, 36 doubles, and 9 triples. Here's Trunkhill for the 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. She painted the inside corner. Jonas backed off a bit thinking that was inside, but it just caught that corner, and Trunkhill records out number 1 of the inning. 4 up, 4 down. A couple of punch-outs so far for Trunkhill, and Addison Dobbins, the shortstop, standing in. Dobbins, a .259 batter on the season. No homers, 3 runs knocked in. Well, Dobbins, much like a lot of the other Sheldon hitters, they're all in a pretty consistent zone as Dobbins swings and misses at a pitch that was out of the zone, fooled on a Trunkhill offering for strike 1. Sheldon doesn't really have any big holes in their lineup. You know, you look up and down lineups, you say, well, maybe the 7, 8, 9 hitters are people who are hitting 150 or a batting average that isn't that great. As there's another cut in the miss. Oh my goodness, Trunkhill with a nasty changeup, and Dobbins way out in front behind 0-2. But Sheldon just has they've got a handful of people hitting above 300 near the top of the order. 1 or 2 hitters in that 400 range, and then near the bottom, just a lot of hitters in the 200s, that 250, 240, 260, as Dobbins cuts and misses for strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night from Trunk Hill on the free pitch K. So they don't have a whole lot of easy outs in the lineup, even though they don't hit a whole lot of power. But again, it's just that being consistent at the plate and having those multi-hit innings that kind of drive the Sheldon offense. So back-to-back Ks by Trunk Hill, who's been nasty so far in the second, as Honkamp watches the pitch that's bowled in there for ball 1. 1-0 count. We'll set the Bulldog defense here. It's Haynes behind home plate, Dunning at third, Lentz at shortstop, Haynes at second, and Jillian Burns at first. In the outfield, it's that law firm of Van Tiger, and Burns. 1-0 pitch. Honkamp rolls that one foul with a very late swing. First base side as the count evens 1-1. Kayla Busher a little banged up here for Algona. Hopefully the Bulldogs win tonight. Busher can come back later in the postseason, but Jillian Burns getting the call at first for this one. Also started that 10-2 win over Spencer in the final game of the regular season. Trunk Hill's 1-1. Honkamp fold on the changeup. Count goes to 1-2. Boy, these Sheldon batters, they are gearing up for the heat, and everyone is out in front on that slow, methodical changeup of Allison Trunk Hill. We'll see if she uses that as the put-away pitch as well, and if Honkamp can make an adjustment. Honkamp batting out of the open stance, choked up on the bat. The next pitch went back to the heat, and it was down low for a ball, 2-2 count. So when you get ahead, you have a couple pitches to play if you're Trunk Hill, trying to strike out the side here in the second. No score between Algona and Sheldon. Trunk Hill's 2-2 pitch. And she tried a little off-speed stuff there, but bet outside for a ball, and the count goes full on Honkamp. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Jada Kampstra in the on-deck circle. Honkamp batting .262 as the 3-2 pitch. Dribbled foul behind home plate. Another late swing by Honkamp, and the count 3-2. She's just caught in between right now by Trunk Hill. She's way out in front on the changeup, but she's behind on her swings, fouling off to the first base side and behind home plate when Trunk Hill brings the velocity. We'll see if you can time it up here, seeing a lot of pitches now from Trunk Hill. As the 3-2 delivery, ground ball towards shortstop, charged by Lentz. She gloves, she throws, and out is recorded at first base. Sheldon goes down 1-2-3 for the second inning in a row. We stay scoreless heading to the bottom of the second on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
AMU wishes our local teams good luck in postseason play. The hard work our ball players put in is reflected in their success on the field. AMU follows the same game plan when providing great services for our customers. AMU employees work as a team to provide reliable and affordable services to our community. When you need electric, water, cable TV, high-speed internet, or telephone services, hit a home run with Algona Municipal Utilities. Community-owned for community benefit.
Kasuth Regional Health Center is your home for recovery care. I'm occupational therapist Ben Krause, ready to help you with recovery care. We work with a wide range of patients, helping them get back to the tasks of daily living and doing the things they want to do. Come home to recover with Kasuth Regional Health Center. Find us online at krhc.com or call 295-2451.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Hey Bulldogs fan, this is Coach Venadalu, and you're listening to Algona Softball on KLGA.
Bottom of the second inning at Bulldog Park. Lady Van Tiger to the plate for Algona as Van Tiger watches and pitches upstairs for ball 1 from the excellent freshman Brooke Jonas for Sheldon, as Sheldon was able to squeeze out of a jam in the first inning. First and second, 1 out for the Bulldogs. They did not score as Jonas buckled down for back-to-back strikeouts. Her pitch to Van Tiger. Van Tiger watching again, another pitch that's up above the zone. Count goes to 2-0. I really like this home plate umpire so far, folks. Not only is he verbally saying where the pitch missed, but he's showing with his hands that pitch was high. There is no doubt as to whether the pitch missed and to where that missed as the count goes 3-0. Another pitch high out of the zone to Van Tiger. Van Tiger batting .409, 2 homers and 30 RBI in the season. She's only been struck out twice. She's walked once as Van Tiger takes all the way, and that one is over the plate for a called strike, 3-1. On that as well for Sheldon, their senior catcher behind home plate, Decker. She's a lefty. You don't see a whole lot of lefty catchers. That's a rarity in baseball or softball. Has the 3-1 pitch to Van Tiger. There's a roller towards second base, and that one sneaks through to right center field for a base hit. Lady Van Tiger goes opposite field on the 3-1 count, and the Bulldogs have their leadoff runner aboard in the bottom half of the second inning.
Number 20.
That is going to bring Emma Spear to the plate. What a breakout season it's been for Spear, with a .367 batting average and 13 RBI. Van Tiger at first base. Spear choked way up on the right-handed bat. She watches the first pitch, and that one at the belt for a called strike. Nothing in one from Jonas. But Decker behind home plate is the left-handed catcher, and the reason that's rare is, of course, most batters that a team faces are going to be right-handed. Well, the right-handed batter slightly obstructs the throw to second base on a steal by the left-handed catcher. That's why you see most catchers be right-handed. Pitch down for a ball. 1-1 count. A left-handed catcher is something of a unicorn in the game of softball and baseball, but like I always say in high school, you've got to stick one of your best athletes behind home plate, and it helps to have a senior back there for Sheldon, easing this young 8th grader through the ball game as the pitch misses down and away. 2-1 count on Spear. Bulldogs not a team that steals a ton. 36 steals in the season for Algona as Van Tiger's at first base. 2-1 to Spear, and that is a bit outside. Decker tried to frame that one but couldn't pull it back in as the count goes 3 balls, 1 strike. For all you Bulldog fans listening who also follow the baseball team, we have an important update as far as the game time tomorrow, as the 3-1 to Spear is a called strike, 3-2. Algona opens the baseball postseason tomorrow by taking on Charles City. That game's now a 3 o'clock start time. They're thinking rain tomorrow night, so that game moved up to 3 o'clock. Pregame will start around 2:45 right here at 92.7 and the Algona Radio YouTube stream. As Spear just got a piece of that one, fouled it off at home plate, and Decker frustrated for herself. She thought she could have squeezed that on the foul tip, but it popped out of her glove, and Spear stays alive for the 3-2 count. Jillian Burns due up next for Algona. Here's the 3-2. Spear fouls it off again, back to the screen, and will do it again at the 3-2 count. It's a very extensive at-bat so far against Brooke Jonas. She's had to work deep into the count against a lot of Bulldog hitters up to this point. That's a good thing the first time for the batting order if you're Algona. You're seeing a lot of pitches, you're getting a feel for what she has, and you're trying to pounce at some point as the 3-2 pitch misses upstairs for ball 4. Emma Spear draws the walk. Lainey Van Tiger up to second base. And the Bulldogs have 2 on with nobody out for Jillian Burns. We'll see if this is a bunt situation or not. Burns just 6 at-bats this season. 2 for 3 with 3 runs driven in. No walks, 1 strikeout. Burns, a right-hander, bats out of a squared stance. Choked way up on the bat. As Jonas delivers, no bunt shown, and Burns takes upstairs for a ball, 1-0 count. So it appears the Bulldogs will let Burns swing away here as Bella Jo Dunning's on deck, and Caitlin Burns is in the hole. 1-0 to Jillian Burns. Corner infielders slightly in as the pitch is down for a ball. Decker does a good job of keeping that in front, and the count goes to 2-0. The corner infielder's not really thinking bunt, though. By in, there may be a step in front of the bag for Sheldon, with Hammer at third base and Honkopp at first. Jonas's 2-0 pitch. That's up at eye level, 3-0 count, and all of a sudden, Jonas getting into a bit of trouble here in the second inning. She's given up a single on a 3-1 count. She's walked Emma Spear, and now Jillian Burns ahead in the count. Here's the next pitch. Burns taking all the way, and that one's a called strike. As Jonas tries to work back into this count, 3 balls, 1 strike on the number 8 hitter for the Bulldogs. Brooke Jonas hustles the next pitch up, and that is inside for ball 4 as Burns works the walk. So the Bulldogs have a chance to make a big impact here in the second inning. Bases loaded, nobody out, and the number 9 hitter, Bella Jo Dunning. Dunning hasn't done a lot of hitting as of late. She's been the flex player for the Bulldogs, but on the season, 2 hits in at 24 at-bats, as a visit in the circle is called for by Sheldon right now. But you're thinking ball and play here for Algona. Again, it's just simple, but you're trying to put pressure on the defense in this situation. The good news for Sheldon is it's obviously a forced play at any base, so you don't have to tag the base runners, but a ball and play here, try to use your speed if you're Algona and see if Dunning can at least drive home the runner from third base. Will that be a sacrifice fly, sacrifice ground out, or, of course, preferentially for Algona, a base hit. So Dunning gets a chance here, 5 RBI in the season. Burns to follow, and the Bulldogs have a chance for a huge second inning. No score, but the Bulldogs have him loaded with nobody out in the bottom of 2, as Brooke Jonas now struggling to throw strikes. Dunning bats with a choked-up bat, front of the right-handed box, and she'll take that eye level for a ball, 1-0 count. I would question here if maybe Dunning just doesn't take until Jonas throws a strike, because she has been falling behind pretty much every batter this inning for the Bulldogs. Jonas is 1-0. Dunning watching. Looked like she wanted to swing there, but that pitch missed as well, and the count goes to 2-0. It was the ever so subtle hand movement by Dunning that made it seem like she would swing if that pitch was in the zone. Here's the 2-0. Dunning watching, and that one just missed. They're going to say downstairs. It had the inside corner, but it was below the knees. 3-0 count. And now, nowhere to put Bella Jo Dunning. Bases are full. 3-0 count as Jonas comes to the plate. Right over the plate for a called strike. Pick to first base. And safe at first. Coming home to score is Lainey Van Tiger. Ball's bobbled behind home plate and the auto runners will move up. Boy, is that a big break for the Bulldogs. Jillian Burns dove back in, barely at first base. And Lainey Van Tiger, seeing the throw go to first, she broke for home, and she was safe by plenty. Bulldogs move runners up to second and third. They lead at 1-0. Now a 3-1 count on Dunning. And Dunning had a good cut at that one, but fouled it back to the screen. Count goes 3-2. That's the danger of trying to throw behind a runner. Boy, bang play at first. I know Sheldon, maybe we could test that call, but safe at first was Burns, and then Lainey Van Tiger coming home to score either way. 3-2 pitch, and Dunning pops it up behind home plate. Decker trying to find it as you can't get to it. Looked like Decker bumped into the umpire, who did his best to get out of the way, but on one of those balls straight up behind home plate, the catcher is springing out of their stance trying to get back to it. That is a hard ball to locate, as Dunning is having a really good at-bat out of the number 9 hole. 3-2 count, and Jonas continuing to labor. Here's the 8th graders, 3-2. Dunning hits that one in the air, right center field. Moving over Campstra, and she makes the grab. Tagging up at third base, Emma Spears. She'll try to score, throw to the plate. Gets the backstop, and Spears in safely. There's going to be a bang play there at home plate, but throws a bit up the third base line, and Decker couldn't squeeze it as the sacrifice fly is completed. Burns ends up at third base. The Bulldogs lead 2-0.
Caitlin Burns.
Well, that's an out, but that is a highly productive plate appearance by Bella Jo Dunning. Bulldogs up 2-0. She saw, I think 7 pitches that at bat, 7 or 8 pitches, ends up a sacrifice fly. You could not ask for more out of your number 9 hitter in that spot, as now the leadoff hitter, Caitlin Burns, bats. Jillian Burns at third base, 2 outs. Or 1 out, beg your pardon, 2-0 Bulldogs. So 1 out, runner at third base. A chance to continue this inning with 2 runs already in. Count 0-1 to Burns. Allison Trunkhill up next after that. The wind and the pitch, up into the backstop, but Jillian Burns staying put at third base. Bulldogs not going to push the envelope there as the count evens at 1-1. Decker showing some pretty good athleticism behind home plate, getting after these foul pops and quickly getting back to the screen after that wild pitch. Here's Jonas with the 1-1 delivery, and Burns with a cut and the miss. Jonas pulled the string on her as Burns had her body go flying out to the first base side on that swing. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Caitlin Burns awaits the next pitch. Down and away for a ball. Bobbled behind home plate, but knocked down by Deckers. The count evens 2-2. Burns sitting at a .382 batting average with 17 RBI in the season. Has a runner at third right now. Brooke Jonas with the 2-2 pitch. Burns a roller towards second base. That'll get the run home. Gloved by DeGroat. Throw to first base. Close play, but they do retire Burns on the sacrifice ground out. So the RBI grounded by Burns makes it 3-0 Algona. And the Bulldogs just working methodically here. After loading the bases with nobody out. They got him on, they got him over, and they got him in. Sacrifice fly by Bella Jo Dunning. Sacrifice ground out, we'll call it, by Caitlin Burns. And it's 3-0 Algona in the bottom of the second, giving Trunkhill a little leeway to work with. Outfield now very deep for Trunkhill, who takes the first offering for ball 1. It was outside. Trunkhill popped it up to second her first time up. Bases are now empty. 2 outs in the Bulldog half of the second inning. A 3-0 Algona lead over Sheldon. 1-0 pitch. Trunkhill, big cut. She was faking homer number 3 of the season, but came up empty as the count evens 1-1. Not a lot of breeze tonight. A very small breeze blowing out to center, but that flag pretty limp out there in dead center. 1-1 to Trunkhill. And a check swing. Did she hold back? That is a strike, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reagan Haynes up next. Should Trunkhill get on base? Bulldogs making Brooke Jonas work extremely hard in the second inning, as Jonas brings the 1-2 pitch. Skipped it in the dirt. Count will even 2 balls, 2 strikes. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 for Sheldon once we get to the top half of the third inning, as the Bulldogs have struck for 3 here in the bottom half of 2. The 2-2 pitch. Up high for a ball as Trunkhill works back into the at-bat. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And Sheldon would certainly love to not have to face Reagan Haynes this inning. We'll see if Jonas can get this final out. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Trunkhill is frozen, and the Bulldogs are done in the second inning. But the Bulldogs with 3 runs on 1 hit. They leave nobody on base, and they take a 3-0 lead on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Some of the most significant power outages in recent years have been caused by severe storms. Whether it's lightning, hail, or extreme wind, don't be caught in the dark. At Murphy Farm Services, our top-of-the-line Generac or Cummins generators will automatically power your home in the event of a power loss. Financing's now available. Already have a standby generator? Call us today to get on our preventative maintenance list to ensure your machine is running at its maximum efficiency. Contact your local certified ag electrical and generator sales and service dealer. Murphy Farm Services, delivering the power you need when you need it.
It's Algona 3 and Sheldon nothing. We move to the top half of 3 on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. Jada Kamstra, Aubrey Urkis, and Emma Bunkers this inning for Sheldon to bat against Allison Trunkhill. Kamstra bats with a very choked up right-handed bat and a deep crouch in the right-handed box. As ball 1 delivered by Trunkhill, that pitch was up. Kamstra also hits on the outside part of the box. She is way off the plate, so she is giving Trunkhill that outside corner if Trunkhill is able to paint it. 1-0 count. Trunkhill back aboard the rubber as the Bulldog Jr. comes to the plate with the 1-0 pitch. Kamstra a roller towards the right side. Diving stop by Ryan Haynes. Throw to first base in time for the out. What a play by the senior. A web gem at second base robs Kamstra of a base hit. Well, the diving stop, of course, was impressive, but I think the hardest part of that play was getting the ball out of her glove cleanly and throwing it to first base while she was laying on her stomach. That was an impressive play by Ryan Haynes at second base, and Allison Trunkhill stays perfect. 7 up, 7 down for Aubrey Urkis, the right fielder. Urkis, another choked-up hitter, takes the pitch up high for a ball, and it's a 1-0 count. Urkis batting .211 for Sheldon. Right-handed hitting junior for the Orabs. Wears an orange batting helmet, perfectly fitting in with the orange and black theme of Sheldon. Here's the motion by Trunkhill on the 1-0 pitch. There's a little dribbler third base side. That one's going to be foul. And the count evens. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bulldogs are going to be seeing some orange and black tomorrow as well as Charles City will go to Algona for the first round of the baseball postseason in Class 3A. Like we mentioned earlier, that is now a 3 o'clock start time, so do not show up at the field at 7 o'clock unless you want to sit at an empty field. 1-1 pitch, roller towards shortstop, Lentz vacuums it in, she fires to first base, and the out is recorded on Urkis. A couple of groundouts to start the inning, 2 up, 2 down for Sheldon, and the number 9 hitter, Emma Bunkers, coming to the plate.
Batting third.
Bunkers batting 184, the sophomore 4 RBI in the season, trying to break up this perfect game going so far by Trunkhill, who has set down 8 straight batters to begin the ball game. Bulldogs on top 3-0 right now as Trunkhill motions and delivers. And that one in for ball 1. Bunkers was gearing up for the heater that time, did a little shuffle step in the right-handed box, and then Trunkhill brought that changeup, but it missed inside. Outfield straight up, medium deep for Bunkers as DeGroat is on deck. Trunkhill with the 1-0. Up for a ball, 2-0 count. Well, Sheldon has spent a lot of time on the defensive side of things so far for the Bulldogs, putting major traffic on base in the first and second innings, and they have gone down quickly in their top half of innings. This is the 2-0 pitch. There's a wave and a miss for a strike, 2-1 count. And that just goes to the credit of the efficiency that Trunkhill is able to work with. She throws strikes, she does not beat herself, and if you can't put the ball in play or you can't hit the ball hard, the Bulldog defense will look to make plays behind Trunkhill as the next pitch is waved at and missed. Trunkhill kept that one away and Bunkers couldn't reach it. Count evens, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Trunkhill trying to battle back from a 2-0 count. The Bulldog Jr. ready with the 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. She got her on the changeup. Trunkhill for 4th punch out of the game. And once again, 3 up, 3 down for Sheldon. In fact, 9 up, 9 down to start this ball game. Algona stays ahead 3-0. We move to the bottom of the 3rd on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
2 of the biggest investments most people will make in a lifetime are your home and vehicles. Rest easy knowing that they are well protected with proper insurance from Central Financial Group. We offer a comprehensive and specialized approach to protecting your belongings from everyday disaster. As an independent insurance agent, we work side by side with multiple companies to make sure you are getting the proper coverage at a proper price. Visit your local Central Financial Group office in Algona, Emmitsburg, Wesley, or Britt. Central Financial Group, where you belong.
At Red Power, your local Case IH dealer, they want you to put the very best into your machine so you can get the very best out of your machine. Choose to use Case IH genuine parts. Only Case IH genuine parts are specifically engineered to fit and function properly with your Case IH equipment. They deliver the performance your business demands while giving you the durability your schedule depends on. So when you want to maximize your performance, go to the original Case IH genuine parts. Visit your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, or Humboldt.
Number 17, Reagan Haynes.
As we come back here on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream, it's Algona on top of Sheldon 3-0. And I apologize, folks. I didn't realize our scoreboard wasn't updating. I've been updating it on the website, but unfortunately it's somehow disconnected from our YouTube stream as Reagan Haynes fouled back to the screen. So I've been punching in the scores and the numbers, but it hasn't been updating here, so we're going to take that down off our screen until we can figure it out. But in the meantime, it is 3-0 Algona. The inning is the bottom of the third, and Reagan Haynes, who is 1 for 1 today, coming to the plate. Bulldogs 3 runs, 2 hits so far. Sheldon, no runs, no hits. Haynes flies at foul territory out of play first base side, and we'll do it again at a 1-2 count. Sorry, folks, I would have fixed that earlier, obviously, if I had known what was going on, but I had no idea our scoreboard wasn't working on the screen. Otherwise, I would have rectified that a lot earlier. Brooke Jonas with the 1-2 pitch. Haynes, hard ground ball past shortstop into left field for a base hit. Shot that right in between third base and shortstop as the ball is bobbled in left field by bunkers, but Haynes will be held to a single. So a pair of singles by Reagan Haynes so far, and the Bulldogs have their leadoff base runner aboard for the third inning in a row.
Batting second for the Bulldogs here is shortstop.
It'll be shortstop Maya Lentz coming to the plate for Algona as Lentz had a long battle with Brooke Jonas her last time up. Jonas eventually won the battle off a strikeout as Taylor Van Otterloo runs at first base. So Van Otterloo to first base. Nobody out. 3-0 Bulldogs in the bottom of the third as Lentz attacks the first pitch and a slice first base sign foul territory out of play in the count 0-1. Sheldon, like we mentioned, an 8-15 record. Placed 6th this year in the Siouxland Conference out of 9 teams. Some really good softball being played over there. Teams like West Line and MOC Floyd Valley, as that one's in there for a called strike 0-2. West Line winning that conference this year, and MOC Floyd Valley also had a 20-win season. They came in second place. Lentz behind 0-2 in the count. Jonas's pitch. Ripped foul, first base foul territory out of play. Lentz tried to inside out that one to right field and hit a hard line drive, but was tardy on that swing. At the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Sheldon won their final 2 games of the regular season, beating Sibley Ocheeden 4-1 and Western Christian 5-2. Brooke Jonas brings the 0-2 pitch. Skipped it in the dirt and nicely scooped out by Decker. Decker was set up on the outside corner. That pitch came low and inside, and she had to slide over towards her left and pick that one out of the dirt as the count goes to 1-2. The winner of this game here in Class 3A Region 6 will play on Saturday night as Jonas's 1-2 pitch and bit down and away for a ball and tried to tempt Lentz again, but Lentz laid off the count 2-2. Sioux Center and Okoboji, the 2 potential opponents on Saturday night for the winner in this one. The higher seed will be the host. As the 2-2 pitch, there's a ground ball towards third base, and that is foul because it hit Lentz in the batter's box. Boy, usually when a ball hits the batter in the box like that, it's going to stay near home plate or at least go to third base a lot less rapidly than it did, but that must have gotten Lentz pretty hard on the foot because that rolled right to hammer at third. But the home plate umpire was right on top of it and correctly called foul ball. So it's a 2-2 count once again. Here's the pitch to Lentz, and Lentz fouls that back to the screen. We'll do it again, 2-2. Should Algona win tonight, they'll be the home team regardless of who they face in the next round, whether that would be Sioux Center or Okoboji. Back aboard the pitching rubber is Jonas. Jonas brings the 2-2 pitch. That one is a cold strike 3, and Lentz gone looking again. You don't see Lentz strike out twice in the same game a whole lot, but Jonas has had a couple of long battles with her and won both times as Van Otterloo is still at first base. Ryan Haynes now to the plate. Should Sheldon win tonight, They would have to travel to Sioux Center, or they could potentially host Okoboji. Is that one in there for a called strike, 0-1. Just looking at the records, though, Sioux Center's 17-10, Okoboji is 4-20, so that would be a pretty sizable upset, but that's why they play the games, folks. They don't do it in the box score. They play the games for real. As the pitch to Haynes. Haynes slices that one towards right field. It's dropping in a hurry, and the dive, and the catch is made in right. What a grab by Urquhart. Boy, that ball was begging to creep out of her glove, but she somehow squeezed it as she was going to the ground. Urquhart takes a bloop base hit away from Ryan Haynes, and out number 2 of the inning is recorded as Lainey Van Tiger comes up now. Van Tiger singled her first time up, came around to score on a wild pitch, and she's 1 for 1 tonight. Urquhart didn't look like she was going to get to that ball, but she did, made a great catch. Van Tiger first pitch swinging, grab ball the shortstop. Dobbins a diving stop, and she flips it into right field. Everyone's going to be safe for the Bulldogs. Dobbins made a great play on the front end of that diving stop, but then that flip went awry, sailed it way over the head of the second baseman DeGroat, and all hands safe for Algona. First and second of 2 outs, and Emma Spear will be the batter. We'll call that an error on the shortstop on the play, as Spear walked her first time up. The motion and the pitch in the dirt. It's off the glove of Decker, and the Bulldogs move up to second and third base. Van Ouderloon out at third base, and Van Tiger at second base. Bottom half of 3 is Algona's up 3-0 right now. Over on the other side of the bracket, 20-7 Esterville Lincoln Central taking on 5-19 Western Christian tonight. As the 1-0 pitch, up for a ball, 2-0 count. 17-13 Boyden Hall Rock Valley taking on 6-19 Spirit Lake. That's over in the other side of this Region 6 bracket. Tonight, 18-6 Sheldon, or 18-6 Algona against 8-15 Sheldon. As the ground ball to third base is fielded, throw to first base, and Spear is retired for the final out of the inning. So Spear retired 5-3, and the Bulldogs strand runners at second and third. The score stays 3-0 Algona here on Hometown Radio KLGA as we move to the 4th inning.
Sure, you can shop the big box stores if you just want to be a number, but if you want knowledgeable staff with personalized customer service, you need to shop local at North Iowa Appliance Center. They go that extra mile to make sure prices are competitive, and they focus on stocking high-quality, reliable appliances from trusted brands. The roots of this family business began 47 years ago, and they're still going strong today. North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest, carrying Maytag, KitchenAid, Whirlpool, and Amana.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bankin at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
Back here at Bulldog Park for the top of the 4th inning. Allison Trunkill going back to work for Algona. She'll face the batting order of Sheldon for the second time around. 1, 2, and 3 this inning with Andy DeGroat starting things off. Pitch to DeGroat. Dips down and away for a ball. 1-0 count. DeGroat a strikeout victim her first time up. One of the 4 punch-outs so far by Allison Trunkill. Kaylee Elgersma and Peyton Decker also drew up this inning for Sheldon. So a 1-0 count. Outfield slightly towards left center. As the motion and the pitch. DeGroat with a late swing and a miss. Trunkill able to tie her up inside as the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. It's been 9 up, 9 down so far for Sheldon. We'll see if one look at Trunkill the first time for the batting order helps them make some adjustments and get back on track here. Time 2 for the order, as that one is rolled foul territory third base side. Trunkill once again just buried one on the hands of DeGroat. Little jam job foul third base side, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Past 3 years, very similar records by the Sheldon softball team. As here's the motion by Trunkill and the 1-2 pitch. DeGroat watching, and that one's a bit outside for a ball, 2-2 count. They are 8-15 this year, finished 9-10 last year, 8-15 in the 2023 season. Prior to that, a 15-12 2022 season. Trunkill to the plate with the 2-2 delivery. Little dribbler, foul territory, and that one is going to stay in the right-handed batter's box. So foul ball by DeGroat, and the count stays 2 balls, 2 strikes. Andy DeGroat, an 8th grader. Brooke Jonas, starting pitcher, an 8th grader as well. A couple of 8th graders breaking into that Sheldon starting lineup this season. DeGroat, the lefty. awaits the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. She is extinguished by Allison Trunkill, as Trunkill now has 5 punch-outs on the evening. And boy, she is cutting right through this lineup. 10 up, 10 down so far by the Bulldog Jr. Now Kaylee Elgersma, a ground out to the pitcher her first time up. And the important thing too, no balls left in the infield so far for Sheldon. Nothing hard hit so far. Handful of strikeouts, handful of groundouts, and a little soft line out to second base as the count 1-0. Or soft line out to shortstop, I should say, but the outfielders, Van Tiger, and Burns, they're bored out there. We'll see if they get any action later on today, but the way Trunkill's pitching, that's uncertain. 1-0 pitch, line drive towards short, caught by Lentz on the leap. Elgersma tried to spray that one to the opposite field. That was the hardest hit ball so far today for Sheldon, but it does not result in a base hit, as it was right at Maya Lentz who made the jumping grab. 11 up, 11 down so far for Sheldon, and Peyton Decker, the number 3 hitter, will step in. Decker, a soft line out to shortstop her first time up. The 349 hitter for Sheldon, their team leader in RBI in the season. She also leads the team with 7 doubles. 7 out of the 21 doubles so far this year for Sheldon belong to Decker. Pitch to Decker, and she dribbles that one foul behind home plate, and the count 0-1. Boys, Trunkill in a good rhythm right now. And you look at the final few games of the regular season for the Bulldogs, they were able to alternate their pitchers a little bit. We saw Ryan Haynes for a couple of games, and really Haynes pitched well at the end of the regular season too. 0-1 pitch, and reaching for that and missing is Decker as the count goes 0-2. I would imagine that was a bit of a refresh for Trunkill. You get in the softball season, you're pitching night after night, 4 or 5 games a week. Having Haynes mix in for a couple of those non-conference games, I would bet was probably pretty big for Trunkill just to get a little breather and focus on hitting for a couple games. 0-2 pitch. And a swing and a foul back to the screen. Decker way out on her front foot on the changeup, but just able to foul that one off. And the count stays 0-2. So far, 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Bulldogs. No runs, no hits, 2 errors for Sheldon. The motion and the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. She went back to the changeup, and that's punch out number 6 by Allison Trunkill. 12 up, 12 down for Sheldon so far. Bulldogs lead 3-0, moving to the bottom half of 4 on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube channel.
Is your student athlete on the injured list? We can help. This is Wendy Wagner, Physical Therapy Assistant at Kasuth Regional Health Center. As a former student athlete and coach, I want to help you get back in the game feeling healthy and injury-free. Our staff works closely with local healthcare providers and specialists throughout the area for a recovery plan that works for you. Best of luck to all our area athletes this season. We will be cheering for you.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare.
At Red Power, they know you expect premium performance and dependable durability from your Case IH equipment, and you should demand the same from the parts you put inside it. Only Case IH genuine parts are guaranteed to perform to the rigorous standards of your Case IH equipment. They're engineered to work harder and last longer, so you can maximize your uptime and minimize your maintenance intervals. Others can imitate, but none can replicate. Nothing beats the original. For Case IH genuine parts, visit your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, Humboldt.
Hey Bulldog fans, this is Ryan Haynes, and you're listening to Algona Softball on KLGA.
Back here for the bottom of the 4th inning in Algona. It's Algona 3 and Sheldon 0 in the regional quarterfinals. Region 6 here as Jillian Burns, Bella Jo Dunning, and Caitlin Burns will bat. Pitch to Jillian Burns, choked way up on that bat, but she takes for a called strike, 0-1. Brooke Jonas, the 8th grader, back to work for Sheldon. Boy, she worked hard today against these Bulldog hitters, but she's been able to strand a couple of opportunities on base. 0-1 pitch. There's a slice foul off the first base dugout facing, and the count 0-2. Of course, the second inning was a tough one for Jonas, as she gave up a single, walked 2 batters, and the Bulldogs manufactured those 3 runs. But in the first, she stranded runners on base, 2 of them, in fact, and then in the third, stranded runners at second and third. So a couple of scoring opportunities the Bulldogs didn't capitalize on. 0-2 pitch in the dirt, count 1-2. But with the way Allison Trunkill's pitching, it hasn't mattered so far. Trunkill, 12 up, 12 down in this ball game. 3-0 Algona as Jonas fires in the 1-2. Sail it up for a ball, and the count evens 2-2. Sheldon and Algona, their only meeting in recent seasons was in 2021, first round of the postseason, a 13-8 Sheldon win. As the 2-2 pitch, Down for a ball, 3-2 count on Burns. In that ball game, two Bulldogs who were 8th graders at the time, now seniors, appeared, as Ryan Haynes was the starting pitcher, and Caitlin Burns did some courtesy running in that ball game for Algona. 3-2 pitch, Burns a fly ball towards right field. Moving in and making the grab is Urkis off to her side, as Burns is retired on the fly out to right for out number 1 of the inning. That'll bring Bella Jo Dunning to the plate with a sacrifice fly, her first time up today. Drove in a run as part of that free-run second inning. But Ryan Haynes against Sheldon. She pitched and went 2 for 4 at the plate. Sheldon did not have any players in that ball game that are on the field tonight, as there's a bunt third base side by Dunning, but it drops in foul territory. Of course, anyone who wasn't in 8th grade at that point would be graduated by now, but Bulldogs only got a pair of 8th graders playing. Sheldon did not have any 8th graders appear in that game. That was a nightmarish game for the Bulldogs, though. They had a 7-4 lead late. Sheldon scored 8 runs in the 6th and ended up winning 13-8. Several years later, Bulldogs looking for a little revenge tonight, as the 0-1 pitch sails to the backstop, and the count will even 1-1 on Dunning. Dunning had a great at-bat her first time up. Not only was it a sacrifice fly to center field, which got the job done for the second run of the game for the Bulldogs, but it was a long at-bat. She fouled off pitches. She saw 7 or 8 pitches. You love to see that out of your number 9 hitter. Jonas's 1-1 pitch. Dunning, a little pop-up first base side foul territory. Honkamp underneath it, and she will squeeze it for the second out of the inning. So 2 up, 2 down pretty quietly for Algona to start things off, and now they go back to the top of the order of Caitlin Burns. Burns reached on an error her first time up, and she also hit an RBI groundout in the second inning. Left-handed hitting senior for Algona. And Sheldon trying to work a 1-2-3 inning for the first time as strike 1 to Burns. Bulldogs have had at least 2 base runners in each of the first 3 innings. Jonas trying to get through this inning with a lot less blood pressure for the Sheldon fans. 0-1 count. Jonas to the plate. Burns cut and a miss. Swung over the top of that one as the bottom fell out of that pitch. And the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Bulldogs in danger of going 1-2-3 for the first time tonight as Burns tries to battle back from an 0-2 count. Jonas rocks and delivers. Burns a roller towards shortstop. It is charged by Dobbins. She gloves, she unloads quickly, but Burns beats the play. She is safe at first base on the infield single. That ball hit very slowly, and Dobbins did anything she could. She charged the ball. She got rid of it quickly, but if you're a left-handed hitter who's fast and can hit a ground ball to the opposite field, sometimes you just get a base hit. There's nothing the defense can do. That was one of those plays. So Burns safe at first base, and Allison Trunkhill will grab a stick, as Trunkhill's 0-for-2 today for pop out to second base and a strikeout. Bats are for runner at first base and 2 outs as the outfield backs way up. Burns is running. Decker throwing to second base, and the throws off to the shortstop side of the bag. Burns steals the base. So Bulldogs manufacture a runner into scoring position for a little small ball. Infield single plus stolen base. Caitlin Burns now 13 out of 15 in steals this season. She is Algona's steal leader by quite a bit in that category. Jonas's 0-1 pitch. Trunkhill cuts and misses. Had the big stride at the front foot and swung over the top of that one. Went fishing for one that was maybe down a little bit low, and the count moves to 0-2. Jonas trying to work around another runner in scoring position. She has stranded 4 so far tonight. Pitch outside for a ball, 1-2 count as Trunkhill able to lay off it. 3-0 Algona, bottom of the 4th here at Bulldog Park. First round postseason action. Jonas fires the 1-2. That one stays up above the letters. The count evens at 2-2 on Trunkhill. You got to give Jonas credit. After that nightmare second inning, she's really dialed back in for Sheldon and battled here against the Bulldogs as Trunkhill rockets that one to left but foul. She was out in front of it. Jonas tried the changeup there, and Trunkhill yanks that one into the left field corner. Would have easily scored Burns from second had that been fair, but instead it'll be a 2-2 count once again. That's a good swing, though, that line drive swing. A lot of power hitters will tell you, sometimes you're not really swinging for a home run as much as you're swinging for a line drive, and then the home runs eventually come. 2-2 pitch to Trunkhill, and a cut and a miss for strike 3. Jonas with the elevation and the strikeout as the Bulldogs strand a runner at second base. The 5th stranded runner of the night for Algona, and the Bulldogs do not score on the bottom of the 4th. It stays Algona 3-0 on top of Sheldon, moving to the 5th on KLGA 92.7.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
AMU wishes our local teams good luck in postseason play. The hard work our ball players put in is reflected in their success on the field. AMU follows the same game plan when providing great services for our customers. AMU employees work as a team to provide reliable and affordable services to our community. When you need electric, water, cable TV, high-speed internet, or telephone services, hit a home run with Algona Municipal Utilities. Community-owned for community benefit.
Hey Bulldog fans, this is Caitlin Burns and you're listening to Algona Softball on KLGA.
Up to bat for the Raps.
It's the top of the fifth inning here in Algona. The pitcher, Brooke Jonas, the shortstop, Addison Dobbins, and the first baseman, Jada Honkamp, all due to hit this inning for Sheldon. If anybody gets on base, the center fielder, Jada Kamster will bat, although nobody's been on base so far. 12 up, 12 down for the Orups here, as Allison Trunkill's back to work on Hometown Radio KLGA Algona, 92.7 FM, and at the Algona Radio YouTube live stream. As there's a dribbler, first base side, charged by Haynes at second, glove flip to first base, and they got her! They got her again! What a play by Ryan Haynes, keeping the no-no alive in the fifth. That was an all-out play. Haynes knew the only chance to get out of first base was a glove flip. No time to transfer the ball to the hand, and she did it again. Haynes had a diving stop and throw earlier in the ballgame. This time, a beautiful glove flip to first base to record the out. 13 up, 13 down. That's the closest Sheldon has been to a base hit today. As Trunkill misses outside for ball one to Addison Dobbins. Dobbins a strikeout victim her first time up. Boy, is Haynes good at second. This is not the first time we've seen things like that for Ryan Haynes. Bulldogs maintaining the 3-0 lead, and Sheldon still without a base runner. 1-0 pitch by Trunkill. That one flied in the air towards right field. Burns coming in, Haynes going out. Burns calling off Haynes and making the grab. The senior taking charge. Well, really a pair of seniors in that situation, but that is the right fielder's ball, and Burns able to call off Haynes there at the last minute. And it's 2 up, 2 down to start the fifth for Sheldon. As Jada Honkamp, the shortstop, with a ground out to
Jada Honkamp.
Or Honkamp, the first baseman, beg your pardon, but she grounded out to the shortstop her first time up. Honkamp 0 for 1 today. Bats out of a crouched and wide open right-handed stance. Honkamp cut and a miss. 0-1 count as Trunkill buried that pitch at the bottom of the strike zone. Outfield medium deep. Gabby Van Tiger in center. Maybe a step towards the left center field gap. The outfield shifting really hasn't come into play a whole lot for the Bulldogs, as that pitch to Honkamp is hit hard, deep left field. Van Tiger going back, and she makes the grab in front of the warning track. Lainey Van Tiger flags that ball down, and once again, Sheldon goes 3 up, 3 down. We head to the bottom of the fifth. It's still 3-0 Algona on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
Postseason sports coverage brought to you by
Northwest Bank, commitment you can bank on.
Algona Dairy Queen. Check out the summer blizzard menu.
Bodie's Moonlight Garden. See them at the farmer's market.
Capacious Brothers Incorporated, Pioneer Seed.
Flipside in Laverne, open 7 days a week. Dine in or carry out.
Snap-on Tools, the most valued tool storage solutions in the world.
Sportsman's Corner, your power sports headquarters for Can-Am and Honda.
Bub's Pie Shop serves delicious lunch and pie Tuesday through Fridays, 11 until 2.
Advanced Drainage Systems, our reason is water.
Looking for your next vehicle? Drive home happy with Chemna Auto Center, your hometown dealer for new GM, Ford, Jeep, and Ram models. Need something pre-owned? Chemna's got you covered with a great selection, many Bravo certified, each with a multi-point inspection and limited warranty. From friendly sales and finance experts to world-class or master service technicians, Chemna's here to serve you. Stop by Highway 18 West in Algona or visit Chemna.com. Chemna Auto Center, an experience you deserve.
Reagan Haynes, first pitch swinging and missing against Brooke Jonas, as it's the bottom of the fifth from Algona High School. Bulldogs on top of Sheldon right now, 3-0 in the Class 3A Region 6 quarterfinal round. All 3 runs in the second inning for Algona as Haynes bounces that one towards second base. It's towards the middle, and it scoots through for a base hit. DeGroat came over, and she got in front of the ball, but that one just snuck underneath her glove. And Haynes has another Little roller for a base hit. Boy, Reagan Haynes, normally the power hitter for Algona, has been playing a little small ball so far today as Van Otterloo will run for at first base. Haynes has hit 3 infield ground balls, and all 3 have just somehow found their way through the infield. But that's a play that DeGroat, I mean, it's a base hit. Well, actually, they'll roll it in air. That actually might be right. You got to turn that into it out if you're DeGroat. That's one of those borderline plays, but on second thought, I think the air is probably right there. She got to that ball, and she was in position to make the play, but it almost went in between her body and her glove, as that will not go as a base hit for Haynes, so she'll be 2 for 3 tonight, but on base all 3 times, as that one's a called strike to Lentz, and she's behind 0-2. Boy, Jonas has really pestered Lentz so far today with a pair of strikeouts after long at-bats. She's worked ahead of Lentz, who's fought back in, but ultimately has been struck out twice. 0-2 pitch. Lentz watching and leaning over the plate, but that pitch missed away as the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Still 3-0 Algona in the 5th. You'd like to add a little gap for your Algona to try to prevent a potential big strike for Sheldon coming back the other way. Is the 1-2 pitch. Lined right center field gap. That is down for a base hit. And the outfielders will cut it off before the warning track, but heading to third base is Van Otterloo. Lentz will still end up on second base with an opposite field double. How about that behind in the count? Lentz just golfed that one to the opposite field on a line. And the Bulldogs have their 5th hit of the ball game. Van Otterloo stopping at third base. And Bulldogs have something brewing here in the 5th. Nobody out, runners at second and third, and Ryan Haynes, who's 0 for 2 so far today. Well, this is the inning that Algona can potentially really damage Sheldon's hopes, as that one is down low for a ball, 1-0 count on Haynes. Jonas has battled. She is bent, but she hasn't broken today. She's kept Sheldon in this ball game in spite of numerous scoring opportunities by Algona, who only leads 3-0. Pitch in the dirt, and Decker picks it out. That may have saved a run because Van Otterloo had a good secondary lead at third base. Decker keeping that ball in front as the count goes to 2 balls, no strikes on Haynes. Here's the motion in the pitch by Jonas. Sails up for a ball, and the count 3 balls, no strikes. Of course, first base is open, but Lady Van Tiger, another dangerous hitter for Algona on deck. You really can't fall asleep anywhere in this Bulldog lineup this year. As the 3-0 pitch, Haynes showing bunt. That was a plan to take it all the way as the count goes 3-1. That shown bunt is a distraction tactic from the batter, trying to distract the pitcher or the catcher. Didn't work, count 3-1. The next pitch, Haynes cutting the miss. Jonas trying to battle back into this. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 3-0 Algona with Van Otterloo at third base, Lentz at second. Outfield playing Haynes deep and towards right center field. Jonas with the payoff pitch. Haynes ground ball towards shortstop. Dobbins charges in. The ball's bobbled, and everyone's going to be safe. And now here comes the second run. Slide. Safe at home plate is Maya Lentz on an extremely aggressive base running play. The Bulldogs get 2 runs on an infield ground ball, and it's 5-0. That was a little miscommunication there between shortstop and third base. Dobbins was charging in. Hammer was cutting across. Those 2 players interfered with each other, and nobody made the play. And Maya Lentz at second base never stopped running. Of course, Van Otterloo at third base was going to score probably no matter what on that play, assuming she got a good jump. But Lentz, with a very aggressive base running play, comes home to score from second base on an infield ground ball. Lady Van Tiger first pitch swinging. Bobbled by Dobbins at shortstop. She'll throw to first base. Not in time. Sheldon coming apart defensively here in the 5th. That'll be their second error of the inning. And the door is opened wide open for the Bulldogs now. Actually, beg your pardon, that is their 3rd error of the inning. As Emma Spear comes to the plate. So it's been a double by Maya Lentz, but 3 errors and 4 batters for Sheldon. There's a cut and a miss by Spear for strike 1. Bulldogs will take it, though. This Bulldog lineup this year is too good to make these kind of miscues against and not eventually pay for it. And the Bulldogs are finally starting to make Sheldon pay for it here in the 5th inning. Jonas trying to pick up her defense now and keep this at 5-0 as her pitch to Spear. Ground ball towards third base. That one is gloved by Hammer. She'll run to the bag, and she will win the foot race with Ryan Haynes. Haynes retired at third base on the fielder's choice. First and second for the Bulldogs as Spear's on with that fielder's choice. Now 1 out as Jillian Burns with a walk and a fly out to right field so far today to the plate. It's Van Tiger at second, Spear at first. 5-0 Bulldogs, bottom half of 5 on this cloudy night in Algona. A little bit of a refreshing breeze now blowing. It was dead and humid here early tonight. Now a bit more of a breeze blowing out towards center field. Outfield playing Burns towards the opposite way. Out to right center as the 1-0 pitch. Burns ground ball up the middle. Knocked down by Jonas. Throw to first base in time. Nice job by Brooke Jonas finding that ball after it deflected off of her body. picked it up and threw to first base to retire Burns as runners moved to second and third. Still 5-0 Algona. As Van Tiger's now at third, Spears at second, and the number 9 hitter, Beljo Dunning, who hit a sacrifice fly to center field and fouled out to first base in her 2 appearances at the plate in this one. So Dunning trying to break through here for the Bulldogs and add even more runs. Already 2 in this inning. Pitch to Dunning, seals up for a ball, and it's a 1-0 count. No scoring so far for Sheldon. They've had 12 up, 12 down at the plate. Algona, 3 runs in the second inning. Missed scoring opportunities outside of that, but now 2 runs here in the 5th. Dunning, high pop-up, shallow right field. Out is DeGroat. DeGroat will make the grab at the very edge of the infield dirt, and the Bulldogs are done in the 5th inning. But Algona does add 2 runs on a few defensive miscues by Sheldon. As we go now to the top half of the 6th, it's 5-0 Algona on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
Postseason Sports brought to you by
Farmer State Bank, a strong history, a bright future.
Algona Livestock, sales every Monday.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle, passionate about teaching, creative about dance.
Daylight Donuts, open early, serving freshly made donuts, rolls, and coffee.
Farm and Home Services, check their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic, caring for your pets, big and small, they love them all.
Algona Frame and Auto Body, we meet by accident. Postseason Sports on Hometown Home Country Radio. Brought to you by
Style Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Signworks for all your signage needs. Also printed shirts, caps, and jackets.
TAFE Wellness Center, Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm insurance agent in Algona.
Lichter's Garage Door Service, a reputation you can trust.
Good Samaritan Society of Algona, senior housing and services rooted in God's love.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping.
The Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service.
It's Algona 5, Sheldon nothing. Move to the 6th on Hometown Radio KLGA as Allison Trunkhill fires. That ball lined to center field, getting down in a hurry, and it's down for a base hit. The no-hitter is broken up in the top of the 6th. The perfect game, in fact, is broken up in the top of the 6th as Jada Kamstra attacks the first offering of the line drive to center field, and Sheldon has their first hit of the game. Now Trunkhill will try to buckle down here after the first hit. It was 12 up, 12 down to start the game, and Aubrey Urkis to the plate. Urkis, a ground at the shortstop, her first time up. Bats of sort of a pigeon-toed right foot, or pigeon-toed front foot, I should say, out of the right-handed stance. She'll square to bunt, and she will foul off at home plate, trying to jab at that bunt. Well, for Urkis, you're faking bunt for a base hit here. Sheldon, they need substantially more than 1 run. They're down 5-0. Runner at first base with nobody out. You need base runners. You need pressure against Trunkhill. Here in the 6th, Trunkhill winds and brings the 0-1. Urkis started to square, but then pulled back as the pitch was outside and up. Count 1 ball, 1 strike. Algona so far today, they're up 5-0, but they have left plenty of scoring opportunities on the base paths. 7 runners stranded by the Bulldogs, but 3 in the 2nd and 2 in the 5th, enough to get a 5-0 lead as Urkis swings and misses. Count 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's the sign of a well-balanced team. This Bulldog team, like I said, different than years past. When the offense is maybe stranding a few runners, they have the pitching to really buckle down and have a shutout game like they've had so far. When the pitching isn't there, sometimes the Bulldogs have those 10-run games as the pitch is up and in, and it drills Urkis. Urkis is hit on the 1-2 count, and Sheldon is trying to create an opportunity in the top of the 6th. First and second, nobody out, as Urkis gets it the painful way, and now the number 9 hitter, Emma Bunkers. Bunkers, a strikeout victim her first time up, 0 for 1 today.
Number 11, Emma
Well,
Bunkers.
now a bunt becomes a little more likely. You're thinking runners at second and third. You can grab 2 runs of base hit after that if Bunkers lays down a bunt, especially for the number 9 hitter, but we'll see what Sheldon's thinking. Bunkers is bunting, and she fouls it off behind home plate. 0-1. And it's not that the Bulldogs are hitting badly today. They're putting the ball in play. They've had some hard hit balls, and they have plenty of base hits. Maybe not plenty, but several base hits. They have 5 so far today. But just the runners left on base, that's what's been keeping the Bulldog offense back from making this a blowout game. 0-1 pitch. Bunkers bunting. She pops it up. Third base foul territory and out of the reach of the catcher Haynes, who tried to lunge after that ball. Count 0-2. So Bunkers could not lay down the bunt. We'll see if they keep it on if the number 9 hitter. Obviously, if you bunt it fouled on an 0-2 count, you are out. But once in a while, if you're the number 9 hitter, you still might be asked to try to do 2 strikes. I would guess Bunkers probably swings away here, though. 0-2 pitch. She does swing away, and she misses for strike 3. Trunkhill got her on the outside offering, and Bunkers retired for out number 1 of the inning.
Is second baseman number 14,
That will bring it back to the top of the order with Andy DeGroat, the second baseman, who's 0-2 with a pair of Ks for Sheldon. But 7, 8, and 9 in the Sheldon batting order. 2 of the 3 getting on. That's a job well done to get it back to the top of the order. As the pitch to DeGroat, there's a cut and the miss. Trunkhill had her out on the front foot in the count 0-1. These Sheldon hitters have just been in between a lot today, behind on the hard stuff and ahead on the changeup. They just have not timed up Trunkhill very well in this ball game. Here's the 0-1 by Trunkhill. Foul back to the screen, and once again, DeGroat way out on the front foot, just able to foul off that offering, and the count 0-2. Outfield medium deep, straight up for the Bulldogs. Corner infielders, Dunning at third base and Burns at first base, pinched in at the corners. Potential double play as well, force plays at first, second, and third. Is the 0-2 pitch. Called strike 3. It grazed the bottom of the zone. Back-to-back punch-outs by Trunkhill, trying to keep this shutout going. So 2 on base for Sheldon, but now 2 outs. And the number 2 hitter, Kaylee Elgersma. Elgersma 0 for 2 today. A ground out to the pitcher and a line out to shortstop. Elgersma, left-handed hitter. Outfield stays medium deep. Playing straight up here for Elgersma. Corner infield stays in. Pitch down and away for a ball. 1-0 count. With the lefties at the plate, you're always thinking, could they try to slap the ball and get an infield single out of this so you keep the corner infielders pulled in? Like Dunning at third base and Burns at first base. Elgersma also has the speed to reach on the bunt, but I'd imagine she'll swing away as pitch to Elgersma. There's a little roller third base side. It's a swinging bunt. Trunkhill grabs, and she's going to eat the ball. She will just eat the ball right there, and that's a smart play. Elgersma could not have rolled that ball any better down the third base side. Beautifully placed in between the catcher, the third baseman, and the pitcher, and there was zero play to be had on that. So Trunkhill will just hang on to the ball, and that'll be an infield single. The second base hit of the game for Sheldon. But now the bases are loaded. Kamstra's at third, Urkus at second, Elgersma at first, and the number 3 hitter, Peyton Decker. The best opportunity for Sheldon to get back into this is at the plate right now. 2 outs, bases loaded, 5-0 Algona, as Decker watches that one, and it's outside for a ball, 1-0 count. Decker hit a soft line at shortstop her first time up and struck out her second time up, 0 for 2 today. But Decker is the dangerous 349 hitter on the season with 16 RBI, the team leader for Sheldon. Trunkhill, ready for the 1-0 pitch. Decker lined up the middle. It hits off the Trunkhill. She tries to get to it, and there is no play. It's an RBI single by Peyton Decker as she lined one right off the body of Allison Trunkhill. It goes for an infield single, and Sheldon's on the board. That'll make it 5-1. The good news is Trunkhill knocked down that ball so it couldn't get through to the outfield and score 2. The bad news is your pitcher just got absolutely smoked by a line drive. The Haynes sisters both go to the circle to check on Trunkhill, but it appears she is no worse for the wear after Decker's just ripped one off her body. It was a perfect game through 5, but Sheldon now 3 base hits in the 6th inning. It's 5-1, and the bases are still loaded. Urkus to third, Elgersma to second, Decker at first. There's a pop-up on the first pitch. Popped up by Jonas, and the shortstop Lentz makes the catch behind the second base bag. While Sheldon does score 1, but the Bulldogs are out of a bigger jam. Sheldon leaves the bases loaded. The score is 5-1 Algona as we head to the bottom of the 6th on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube channel.
Postseason sports coverage brought to you by
Steyr Flooring, home of the Floorinator.
Jake Ingalls Electric, shockingly good service.
Thompson Sewer and Drain, septic service done right.
Electronic Specialties, North Iowa's communication professionals.
Prism Wealth Advisors, your roadmap to financial freedom.
Heartland Mutual Insurance, your trusted property insurer.
Murphy Realty and Management, serving Algona and the surrounding areas.
Cook Scrap Iron and Metal, home for all your welding and steel needs. Tournament sports coverage on Hometown Home Country Radio, brought to you by
Stroman Family Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Fairway Meat and Grocery, everything's easier, fresher, and faster with Algona Fairway.
Algona Manor Care Center, your home away from home with quality care.
Rothler Electric, don't be left in the dark.
From our homestead to yours, you'll find what you need at the Homestead Country Store.
Smithfield Foods, good food responsibly.
Linda K's Microwavable Meals, homemade dinners to go, and catering services.
Miller Construction, proud supporter of student athletes.
Hey, Bulldogs fan, this is Coach Venadalou, and you're listening to Algona Softball on KLGA.
As we come back to Bulldog Park, Brooke Jonas pitching for Sheldon right now as she enters the bottom of the 6th inning. It's Algona leading Sheldon 5-1. Sheldon got that run in the 6th inning on the single by Peyton Decker, but Sheldon missed a bigger scoring opportunity as they leave the bases loaded on the pop-out by Brooke Jonas. So Jonas entering her 6th inning of work, delivers to Caitlin Burns, the number 1 hitter in the Bulldog batting order, and that will go for ball 1. It's Burns, it's Trunkhill, and it's Haynes this inning for Algona. 1, 2, 3 in the order. Burns singled her last time up, also with an RBI groundout, and reached on an error so far today as Burns takes a strike and the count evens. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bottom of the 6th. Chance for the Bulldogs to add some insurance, leading 5-1 as Algona looks to advance to the regional semifinals on Saturday night. The 1-1 pitch. Burns jammed on that one. It rolls towards first base. The ball goes back into fair territory, and tagging the bag is Honkamp. That ball started in foul territory, but it had some wicked English on it, hugging the line and eventually rolling back into fair territory. Honkamp with a smart job to stave that play, waiting for the ball to come back fair, and she steps on first base for the easy out as Burns is retired. Now Allison Trunkhill. Tough day at the plate for Trunkhill, although a great day in the circle as Trunkhill 0 for 3. She'll take a changeup for a called strike, and she's behind 0-1. We have these dark gray skies here in Algona. This is why the game was moved up 1 hour to avoid potential weather that could be coming later tonight. The 0-1 pitch. Trunkhill dribbles that one foul, third base side, 0-2 count. If you're just tuning in, we'll mention as well the Algona baseball game against Charles City. That's now a 3 o'clock start time tomorrow. We're signing Brian Wilson on that one as he'll have the call here on 92.7 KLGA. And pregame coverage getting underway as well on the Algona Radio YouTube stream around 2:45, 2:50. About 10-15 minutes before the ball game is the 0-2 pitch. Blasted deep left field by Trunkhill. There it goes, and it one hops the fence. It is picked up and left by Bunkers. Trunkhill will go into second of a double. Boy, did she attack that ball. Another ripped line drive to left field by Trunkhill. She hit one just like that was foul earlier in the ball game. That one she kept fair, and the Bulldogs have runner at second base. That's about the hardest hit ball of the game either team's had so far, as Reagan Haynes will bat. Haynes 2 for 3. She has a pair of singles and reached on an error in the 5th inning. So Algona tries to get that run right back. Charlie Dodds will courtesy run at second base for Allison Trunkhill. So Dodds, the backup catcher for the Bulldogs, the sophomore, runs at second base right now. And Reagan Haynes, the starting catcher, the team leader in RBI, and one of the best players in the area up to the plate right now. Haynes bats out of the narrow and open stance, and she'll attack the first pitch but pop it foul behind home plate, and the count 0-1. She went on a home run binge towards the end of the regular season. Middle to end of the regular season, we'll call it. Drove that home run total up to 7. Final few games had a lot more singles, but she's been getting on base and producing one way or the other as the 0-1 pitch. That one misses for a ball, 1-1 count. She was 3 for 3 against Spencer in the final regular season game. Had 3 base hits for Algona. 1-1 count. The delivery is Haynes. It's a hard ground ball past shortstop and to left for a base hit. Dodds will get the stop sign at third base as the left fielder Bunkers is on top of that ball quickly. And Haynes, once again, just like she did in an earlier at bat, squeezes the ground ball in between third base and shortstop. And the Bulldogs have him at the corners of only 1 out. Algona on top 5-1, and a chance to extend as Maya Lentz, 1 for 3 today, hit a double to the right center field gap her last time up. As Taylor Van Otterloo having a busy day, she will courtesy runner at first base. Whoever's assigned to courtesy run for Reagan Haynes on a given night is probably going to have a busy day unless Haynes hits the ball out of the ballpark. So it's Dodds at third base, Van Otterloo at first, and Lentz bunting. She'll pull the bat back, and that is just to allow Van Otterloo to go to second base. Ball 1 is taken. So defensive indifference as Van Otterloo takes second. Dodds still at third base. And a 4-run lead by Algona, trying to add more here if Lentz batting and only 1 out. The Bulldog number 4 hitter watches one in the dirt. It gets away. Here comes Dodds from third base, and she will slide in safely. 6-1 Algona, and they get the run right back. Decker couldn't block that one. And advancing to third base is Van Otterloo. Pitch was a ball, so it's a 2-0 count on Maya Lentz. The number 4 hitting sophomore for Algona with Ryan Haynes on deck. So Bulldogs up 6-1 right now. Sheldon will have 5, 6, and 7 if Dobbins, Honkamp, and Kamstra once we get to the top of the 7th, but Bulldogs looking for more insurance at this point. 2-0 pitch. Lentz, line drive center field base hit. 7-1 Algona. After striking out her first 2 at-bats, Maya Lentz back-to-back line drives. She's now 2 for 4 today, and she drives in another insurance run for the Bulldogs as Van Otterloo scores.
Now batting for the Bulldogs is second baseman.
So the RBI for Maya Lentz will go as number 19 of the season, and Ryan Haynes will bat. Runner at first base, still only 1 out, as Brooke Jonas will go into the windup and deliver. Haynes watching that pitch up for a ball. It's a 1-0 count. Well, that will quickly quell any momentum Sheldon had. And probably not a lot of momentum. I mean, they scored 1 run in the top of the 6th inning, but left the bases loaded as there was a foul tip by Haynes into the glove of Decker behind home plate. Count evens at 1-1. Outfield a little bit towards right center field. Kamstra out in center field, shifted especially with the left fielder Bunkers and the right fielder Urkus a bit off the line on both sides. 1-1 pitch. Haynes watching, Lentz running, throw to second base by Decker, and Lentz went in standing, but she was safe. It'll go as a steal, but I'm sure the Bulldogs would prefer to see Lentz going sliding there if the throw going through to second base. Anyways, though, it is a runner in scoring position as Lentz is now 7 for 8 on the season in stolen bases. Second steal of the game for Algona. 2-1 pitch fouled back to the screen, and the count evens at 2-2. They've had a few runners advance on defensive indifference, but a defensive indifference is not a steal. Although some coaches around the area, or at least some people who enter stats on Bound, maybe don't realize that, as some teams have artificially inflated stolen base totals. Haynes with a pop-up on the infield. The pitcher Jonas out of the circle to make the catch, and that'll go for out number 2 of the inning, as Lentz stays at second base.
Now batting is
But fortunately, whoever's doing the balance stats for the Bulldogs, they know the difference between a steal and a defensive indifference, so the Bulldog stolen base stats online are correct, as Lainey Van Tiger will be the batter. Van Tiger singled her first time up, and she's reached on errors each of her last 2 plate appearances. Van Tiger taking in that one is in there for a called strike, 0-1. Well, I always make the comment, we've done several post-game interviews with Lainey, and she's mentioned, you know, I don't usually like to swing at the first pitch, I take it for a ball, or I don't usually like to swing until there's a strike, but she just attacked the first pitch a couple of times tonight. Took that one, though, as there's a ground ball towards third base, gloved by Hammer, throw to first, in time, and Van Tiger is out. But the Bulldogs add a pair of insurance runs. Algona takes a 7-1 lead over Sheldon as we move to the top of the 7th on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube channel.
Postseason sports coverage brought to you by
Northwest Bank, commitment you can bank on.
Algona Dairy Queen. Check out the Summer Blizzard menu.
Bodie's Moonlight Garden. See them at the Farmers Market.
Capacious Brothers Incorporated, Pioneer Seed.
Flipside in Laverne, open 7 days a week, dine in or carry out.
Snap-on Tools, the most valued tool storage solutions in the world.
Sportsman's Corner, your power sports headquarters for Can-Am and Honda.
Bub's Pie Shop serves delicious lunch and pie Tuesday through Fridays, 11 until 2.
Advanced Drainage Systems, our reason is water. When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Last chance for Sheldon, trailing Algona 7-1 on the top of the 7th inning as Addison Dobbins will try to spark a late rally for the Orubs. The motion in the pitch by Trunkhill, and Dobbins flies that one in the air. Shallow outfield. Coming in is the center fielder, Gabby Van Tiger, and she'll make the catch in the left center field gap for out number 1 of the inning. So Sheldon down to their final 2 outs as Dobbins now over for you tonight. It was 12 up, 12 down to start the game for Trunkhill, who was dealing. Sheldon started hitting the ball a little harder in the 6th. They scored 1 run, but they left the bases loaded in a missed scoring opportunity as Jada Honkamp comes in. Honkamp flying out deep to left field her last time up. Well, on the other side of the bracket, Esterville Lincoln Central made quick work of Western Christian tonight, as that one's in there for a called strike. Count goes to 0-1. ELC defeats the Wolfpack. They will run rule them tonight by a final score of 8-0, so Esterville Lincoln Central's on to the regional semis against either Boyd and Hall Rock Valley or Spirit Lake. No final in that one yet. As the 0-1 pitch, Honkamp cutting and misses from her strike. Count 0-2. Winner in this one faces the winner of Sioux Center and Okoboji. No final score in that one either. If Algona wins tonight, they're home regardless on Saturday night. 0-2 count. Trunkhill's next pitch. A little bit down for a ball. Count 1-2 as she couldn't get Honkamp to go fishing for that one. Jada Kamstra in the on-deck circle for Sheldon, trailing Algona 7-1 in the top of the 7th inning. Just 3 hits so far today for Sheldon. Trunkill rocks and brings the 1-2 pitch. Hong Kong fouling that one back to the screen, and the count stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. In fact, not only was it 12 up, 12 down for Trunkill to start the game, it was 15 up, 15 down. She went into the 6th of a perfect game. But 15 up, 15 down to start the game, and then eventually in the 6th, the perfect game was broken up as Hong Kong cuts and misses for strike 3. Trunkill trying to finish this one out. Sheldon's season down to its final out as Jada Kamstra comes to the plate. 1 for 2 today for ground at the second base and a single.
Off the bat for the
But Sheldon didn't have a ball leave the infield in the first 4 innings. Had a couple of flyouts to the outfield in the 5th. But 15 up, 15 down to start the game for Trunkill. Ran into some trouble in the 6th, but managed to minimize the damage. Now it's 7-1 Algona as Kamstra 1 for 2 today. She'll watch the first pitch, and it's in there for a called strike, 0-1. Trunkill trying to remove any drama from the final inning as the Bulldogs lead at 7-1. 2 outs, nobody on base for Sheldon. Trunkill will climb back aboard the pitching rubber. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Down and away for a ball. Count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. Aubrey Urquist due up next. Should Kamstra reach? As it's been a blackout offensively tonight for Sheldon. Locked down by Trunkill, and another excellent outing. The 1-1 pitch. Called strike on the outside corner. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes, and Sheldon down to their final out. Bulldogs looking to advance to Saturday night and looking for win number 19 of the season. Trunkill will take a deep breath before readying herself. She will reload the chamber for the 1-2 pitch. Fouled back to the screen. Kamstra stays alive with a 1-2 count. Bulldog outfield playing straight up, and Tiger in center field maybe a step towards left center. Corner infielders, Dunning and Burns, about even of the bags. For the middle infielders back at normal depth. 1-2 count as Trunkill delivers. Little tapper foul at home plate. Right off the end of the bat as Kamstra stays alive, and we have a 1-2 count once again. Trunkill keeps pounding the zone, and Kamstra keeps spoiling pitch after pitch. Trunkill wipes the ball off on her leg, then steps back on the rubber. Again, if the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Trunkill ends up a 1-2 free 7th, and the Bulldogs are on to the regional semis on Saturday night. Final score tonight, Algona 7 and Sheldon 1. Back with more to wrap it up next on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube channel.
Living in Iowa sure means we rely on our furnaces and air conditioners to keep us comfortable all year round. That's why Algona Plumbing and Heating is proud to be your local trusted Armstrong dealer. They're committed to bringing you the highest quality products in heating and cooling, and it doesn't get any better than Armstrong furnaces and air conditioners. For all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, give them a call at 295-5240 or stop by their Dodge Street location. Live comfortably with Algona Plumbing and Heating.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Sure, you can shop the big box stores if you just want to be a number, but if you want knowledgeable staff with personalized customer service, you need to shop local at North Iowa Appliance Center. They go that extra mile to make sure prices are competitive, and they focus on stocking high-quality, reliable appliances from trusted brands. The roots of this family business began 47 years ago, and they're still going strong today. North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest, carrying Maytag, KitchenAid, Whirlpool, and Amana.
Postseason Sports brought to you by
Farmer State Bank, a strong history, a bright future.
Algona Livestock, sales every Monday.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle, passionate about teaching, creative about dance.
Daylight Donuts, open early, serving freshly made donuts, rolls, and coffee.
Farm and Home Services, check their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic, caring for your pets, big and small, they love them all.
Algona Frame and Auto Body, we meet by accident. Postseason Sports on the radio brought to you by
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair, getting you back on the road.
High Point Land Company, your premier destination for land transactions.
J&J Custom Meats, located in Whittemore.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 in Algona.
Tangle Salon, for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Ulrich Construction, let them do the work.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used car vehicle needs.
Hy-Vee, fill your cart, fuel your car with the Fuel Saver Plus Perks card.
Hey Bulldogs fan, this is Coach Bernardo, and you're listening to Algona Softball on KLGA.
Wrapping things up here on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube live stream. Algona is through the first round of the postseason. They knock off Sheldon tonight by a final count of 7-1 as the Bulldogs will play at home on Saturday night in the regional semifinals. Looking at a few unofficial final numbers for today's game. For Algona, it was 7 runs on 8 hits. They leave 8 runners on base and commit 0 errors tonight. For Sheldon, 1 run on 3 hits. They leave 3 runners on base and commit 5 errors unofficially for tonight's game. Well, the Bulldogs win this one by a final count of 7-1, and a lot of that is a credit to Allison Trunkhill as she pitched excellently in tonight's game. She retired the first 15 batters of this one and did not allow a base hit until the 6th inning. Trunkhill pitched 7 innings tonight. She gave up 3 hits, 1 run, did not walk a single batter, hit one off a pitch, and struck out 9 for tonight. Meanwhile, for Sheldon, their losing pitcher tonight was Brooke Jonas. She really battled tonight against the Bulldogs, but ultimately Algona proved to be too much. Jonas, 6 innings pitched, as she allowed 7 runs on 8 hits, struck out 5, and walked 2. Those are a few of the final stats for tonight. We'll come back with a few final thoughts in a post-game interview after this on KLGA Hometown Radio.
Postseason Sports brought to you by
Feed Mill Coffee Company, your locally owned coffee shop in downtown Algona.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty in downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Redding Gravel and Excavating, serving Algona and the surrounding area since 1948.
Steyer Ag Aviation, aerial and ground application agronomy service.
Lance and Tracy Ludwig, your Channel seed dealer in Wesley.
Lentz Funeral Home, someone who cares and understands.
Nielsen Trucking, your project is their priority.
JDRC to Wesley, your Whipples seed dealer.
As we come back here on Hometown Radio KLGA, we're joined right now by Bulldog sophomore Maya Lentz to wrap up this game, a 7-1 Algona win over Sheldon. Maya, first of all, the regular season wraps up. You guys have a really good year, 18-6 in the regular season. What was the excitement level of this group like heading into the postseason?
We were pretty excited because last season we didn't get any home games in the postseason. And this year we're starting off with 2, so we were pretty confident in ourselves.
How do you approach a game like this? Sheldon's obviously a team that most of the players on this Bulldog roster hadn't seen, so kind of an unfamiliar opponent for tonight, a pitcher you hadn't seen. How do you approach a game like that with some uncertainties in that manner?
Just stay calm and do what you know how to do.
You had a couple big at-bats in this game, kind of battled their pitcher Brooke Jonas. She got you a couple of times of strikeouts early, but then you got her of a couple line drive base hits later in the game. Just kind of take me through the battles you had of her and, sort of what stood out to you about that.
I really had to adjust to what the ump was calling because she was throwing outside a lot, and I had to scooch up closer to the plate in order to hit it to right field.
Well, tonight, Maya, Bulldogs played some really good defense. Allison Trunkhill pitched really well. Talk to me about playing defense behind Trunkhill when she's in such a good rhythm like she was tonight.
It's pretty good. She forces people to hit either ground balls or fly balls, so you don't have to worry about her, giving off good hits.
Well, Maya, you win that final regular season game against Spencer. You have a little bit of practice time leading into today's game. I know there were a couple games late in the season when the Bulldogs maybe had a few more errors than they wanted, so I guess how big of an emphasis defensively was focused on in practice the past couple of days?
It's been kind of a lot, but we've been focusing on defense and hitting about the same.
Well, a chance for the Bulldogs to be at home again on Saturday night. We'll see who the opponent is. Obviously, no final score in that game next to you in the bracket. But what's, I guess, the excitement level knowing that you got that first postseason win out of the way, some of those postseason nerves out of the way as well, and you get to be back at home here on Saturday night?
It's pretty exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do the rest of the postseason.
All right, Maya, well, congratulations on the win, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
That's Bulldog shortstop Maya Lentz. We're going to bring in Coach Van Otterloo here after Maya as the Bulldogs today defeat Sheldon by a final count of 7-1 in this one. As the Bulldogs are on to Saturday night, they will play against the winner of Sioux Center and Okoboji. So we're going to bring Coach in here for a post-game interview. Coach, first of all, congrats on the win here tonight, 7-1 over Sheldon. I'm going to start with the pitching of Allison Trunkhill. 15 up, 15 down to start the game. Ran into a bit of trouble in the sixth, but minimized the damage. Take me through Trunkhill's outing tonight and how really excellent she was in this one.
Yeah, you're right, Tyler. Allison was locked in tonight. She was hitting her spots. She's really, really good when she has that changeup going. And she had that going tonight, which was good to see. Allison's done a nice job all year, and we're just really proud of her.
Well, Coach, I was just talking with Maya. I know defensively there were a few games late in the season where the error numbers are a bit too high. Tonight, 0 errors for the Bulldogs. How good was it for you to see the defense really have a good night behind Trunkhill?
Yeah, you're right. We said that at our team meeting afterwards. We played really good defense. We did have some games there where we had some mistakes, and I tell the girls, you don't make mistakes on purpose. They're going to happen. We just got to limit them in key situations. And it was really good to see they played good defense tonight. I thought Maya was great at shortstop. Our outfielders caught it. Ryan's diving play there at the ground ball. That's just really good defense, and we had practice yesterday and got some good defensive work in. So good thing is we get to practice tomorrow too.
Well, Coach, I'm glad you brought up Ryan Haynes because she made 2 excellent plays at second base. You referenced that diving stop and throw that was early in the ballgame. Then late, she had a glove flip that also got an out, and at that point kept the perfect game alive. I mean, I don't know how you describe what she's done at second base, but how has she gotten so good over there defensively?
Yeah, Ryan's just an athlete, and she does a nice job over there. We work on those flips in practice, and it's good to see it translate in a game, And, Ryan, just like I said, an athlete, does a nice job there at second base and is just a leader for us there in the infield.
Well, Coach, offensively, maybe a little touch and go tonight. I know the Bulldogs left some runners in scoring position, but when you guys did score, you kind of scored in chunks. So, offensively, what did you feel were a few of the factors in tonight's game?
Yeah, you're right. We were just rolling over a little bit, getting some ground balls, but, we were getting hits when we needed them. Yes, we did leave some runners on base. That's going to happen. But I thought, Reagan Haynes was 4 for 4 again. Last game, she was 3 for 3. Right now, she's seeing the ball. I mean, she didn't have her line drives, but she was finding those gaps with the ground balls. Maya Lenz had a good night, I thought, too. So just a lot of good things. Allison's hard hit out there to left. I thought that was a key moment, too. So we'll take what we got tonight. And, this in the second inning, I have just written down, we were patient up there. She struggled at the plate there. We had a nice sack fly by Bella Jo Dunning. And then Burns hit it to the right side. Caitlin Burns hit it to right side and scored her sister Jillian. So that's good softball there, able to get those 3 runners in there.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up as well, Coach, because lineup looks a little different tonight. Obviously, Kayla a little banged up, so she couldn't play. So Jillian Burns is in the lineup. Bella Jo Dunning is batting tonight. So those are 8 and 9 hitters who are maybe a little different than what they looked like earlier in the season. But it seems like those 2 had some pretty competitive bats tonight.
Yeah, I thought they did a nice job tonight. Jillian Burns, she did a nice job all year hitting at the JV level. She's a good at-bat person for us. Bella Jo Dunning's just struggling a little bit, but she's putting the ball in play, and that's what you want to see at this time of year.
Coach, final thing, obviously we'll get ready for Saturday night now, and we'll see who the Bulldogs will end up playing, but we know it's here at home at the Home Diamond. So I guess, 1, how big is it to have that second round at home? And 2, just what's the excitement level for this team knowing that, hey, we got those first-round jitters out of the way, and now we get ready to walk in for another postseason game?
Yeah, you're right, Tyler. It's great that we get to play here again on Saturday. The girls get to be in their routine. That's a big thing with these girls, is staying in that routine, a home game, have a regular batting practice, and then get ready for the game. I don't know who our opponent is, but we'll find that out hopefully here soon and be ready to go.
Well, great, Coach. Congratulations on the win tonight, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks, Tyler.
That's Algona Bulldog coach Todd Van Otterloo, as we'll take one final timeout and wrap up the broadcast after this on KLGA 92.7.
Postseason sports coverage brought to you by
Northwest Bank, commitment you can bank on.
Algona Dairy Queen. Check out the summer blizzard menu.
Bodie's Moonlight Garden. See them at the farmer's market.
Capacious Brothers Incorporated Pioneer Seed.
Flipside in Laverne, open 7 days a week. Dine in or carry out.
Snap-on Tools, the most valued tool storage solutions in the world.
Sportsman's Corner, your power sports headquarters for Can-Am and Honda.
Bub's Pie Shop serves delicious lunch and pie Tuesday through Fridays, 11 until 2.
Advanced Drainage Systems, our reason is water.
And with that, we're going to wrap things up here on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. A big thank you to Coach Van Otterloo for stopping by, as well as Maya Lentz, as Algona defeats Sheldon today by a final score of 7-1. As we said, they will play on Saturday night. Opponent to be determined, the winner between Sioux Center and Okoboji. But we do know the Bulldogs will be at home for that ball game regardless, as it is scheduled to start at 7 o'clock. As I mentioned, for tomorrow, we will have Algona baseball on the radio on 92.7 KLGA at 3 o'clock, weather permitting. Pre-game coverage will get underway around 2:45, 2:50, as we're going to have Brian Wilson on the call. We're going to the bullpen for that one. You can also watch it on the Algona Radio YouTube stream as the Bulldogs take on the Charles City Comets. We'll also have North Union softball for you tomorrow night. That game is scheduled for 7 o'clock as North Union takes on St. Edmund High School softball. I'll have coverage of that on KLGZ Home Country 98.5 FM at AM 1600, as well as the Algona Radio YouTube stream. Again, weather looking a little questionable, so we'll wait and see how things go for that, but that is the plan as of right now. And of course, whenever the Bulldogs take the field next, you can find them here on the Algona Radio YouTube stream, as Algona will play on Saturday night here on the Softball Diamond back at home. Well, we've got to give a big thank you, as always, to our video streaming sponsors and postseason sports sponsors, as well as the Iowa Girls Union does not make it cheap to video stream these games, but fortunately we have some great support in the community with our local businesses, so if you get a chance to stop on by and support the businesses that support us, that is always a great thing to do, and help us broadcast these postseason games on the video stream. With that, we're going to sign off. I am Tyler Lance, wrapping this one up. This has been a sports production of KLGA Hometown Radio and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. Your final score tonight, Algona 7 and Sheldon 1.